Right. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to our first presentation session for this semester. We're in week 14, and we have 5 groups altogether. Will be sharing with us the summary of the strategies and plans that they have written, the implementation or bureaucratic implementation strategy or plan. So to start off the discussion, we have group one. Group one have written the implementation strategy, and they've already submitted the document for marking, and it's called PNG's Wasman Foreign Policy Action Plan 2024 Bureaucratic Implementation Strategy. So we'll give this opportunity or this time to Narisa, who's the group representative, to share with us a summary of the strategy. But before we go into our presentation, we will have a panel of markers. Unfortunately, Doctor is not with us in the meeting room right now. He has another commitment, work commitment. So Mr. Ako is here. So both Mr. Ako and I will we have the marking criteria for the oral component. We'll mark and then we'll add our marks and then work out the divide by 2, get the average, and that will be your final mark out of 20. And we'll also do that uh, for the strategy. I've circulated the strategy, the 5 documents to Mr. Ako and Dr. Uwalumomi, so they'll go through and then they'll give their mark out of 30 following the marking criteria. All right. So that's about marking. It will be marked by a panel, the written component as well as the oral component. And whatever feedback that they give, I'll share with all of you, the group, so you can have a look at these 2 very experienced public servants and the opinion or the comments about your strategy and your oral presentation. So with that, we'll have Q&A afterwards. So the Q&A will be open. You can ask questions directed to Narisa and the group or to Mr. Ako and myself. So we'll just have general Q&A after the presentation. So that's all. Without further delay, I will now hand over the virtual microphone to Narisa. And as she starts speaking, I'll begin the recording, not the recording, sorry, the timer to time a presentation. So with that, please go ahead, Narisa. Thank you.
See my water. Uh, Hello everyone. Hi Mr. Tiger. Can you all see the PowerPoint presentation?
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. Good morning, Mr. Yagura, Mr. Ako, and everyone. So my name is Narsha, and I will be representing Group 1 to present our case study under the main question guide. How can our 2024 foreign policy proposal be operationalized through PNG's public service machinery and align with national development strategies? Under the unit, foreign policy in PNG. This is the content of the presentation, starting off with the introduction and ending with the references. So what is Wasman and why is it used to depict PNG's foreign policy approach? In Papua New Guinea, the term Wasman is used to signify a person's spiritual custodian of their possessions. This practice emerged during World War II when locals served as coast watchers, guarding against Japanese threats. In the realm of foreign policy, the Wasman concept is employed to advance PNG's national interest and safeguard its economic resources through prioritizing economic potential and forging strong relations with other nations. So the Wasman Policy 2024 is a foreign policy white paper aimed at advancing PNG's national interest. The policy is designed to foster economic growth through strategic international engagements, trade agreements, and technological advancements while simultaneously enhancing the nation's security and diplomatic reach, particularly in the economic sphere. It focuses on two primary objectives. Firstly, advancing technology for agriculture and tourism, and secondly, protecting sovereignty and strengthening diplomatic relations. As any other nation or country, it is vital to firmly state PNG's national interest, which will direct and guide the nation's national plans and goals to achieve or maintain its national interest. So the national interest of the Wasman foreign policy are mainly to pursue its economic interests through advancing technology, primarily in the areas of extractive natural resources sector and agriculture or tourism. So by doing so, we can build a resilient, sustainable, and technologically advanced economy. The following are the national interests that need strategic focus and are relevant to the objective of this foreign policy. So we have security interest, cultural and social interest, and economic interest. Now, moving on to the risk or issues that were identified during the conception of this policy are as follows. Heavy heavy reliance on foreign partners with no proper strategic approach. So despite being a sovereign nation, having been independent for 50 years now, a major existing risk or weakness is that we do not have the capabilities, for instance, maritime capabilities and human capacity to effectively implement strategies or policies that were already established. And with that, illegal activities across PNG borders, such as IIU fishing, drug smuggling, and other illegal activities continues to persist. Another major issue identified is mismanagement of funds from the government and other partners and no proper transparency among government officials, which sparks another problem of no proper policy implementation. For example, due to corruption, our borders are being left undefended, which weakens our sovereignty and our security, specifically maritime security. So the Wasman foreign policy is not created in isolation. It builds upon and directly supports PNG's long-term national strategies, particularly the Vision 2050, the MTDP 5, and other frameworks such as the National Security Policy, National Trade Policy, and other frameworks. So it is in alignment with PNG 2050, which reflects all the 7 key pillars. In regards to the MTDP 5, it focuses on economic diversification, human development, and governance reform with 5 priority areas: responsible sustainable development, human capital, institutional governance, infrastructure, and inclusive participation. Other relevant frameworks include the National Security Policy 2013, the National Trade Policy, and the National Anti-Corruption Strategy. All right. Domestic institutions or PNG's bureaucratic agencies plays a crucial role in the effective implementations of its foreign policies through their involvement in planning and execution. And these domestic partners include Department of Foreign Affairs. We have the Department of Prime Minister and National Executive Council, the Ministry of Defense and other security agencies. And lastly, the Department of National Planning and Monitoring. So they have their own responsibilities. Other agencies, pardon me, other agencies or sectoral partners include the Ministry of Trade and Investment, Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources, and National Maritime Security Authority with their own respective responsibilities. Now to the implementation framework. The Wasman foreign policy has two action plans, but I will be presenting on our first action plan, which is investing in technology to monitor and protect PNG's natural resources. So the strategic objective of this action plan one is to secure PNG's economic interest by monitoring extractive industries and exclusive economic zones to protect capital revenue streams. So the implementation timeline is as follows. We have the short term, 1 to 2 years, the medium term, 3 to 5 years, and the long term, which is 5 to 10 years. So during these terms of the years, there'll be like different activities implemented. To the coordination framework, the lead would be the lead for this action plan one would be the Department of National Planning and Monitoring with its supporting agencies such as the Department of Agriculture and Livestock, Commerce and Industry, Department of Labor, Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources, and the National Maritime Safety Authority with international partners such as World Bank, IFAD, PNG Sustainable Development Program, the UNDP, Australia, Japan, and China, with an estimated budget of about 40 million. So Papua New Guinea's bureaucratic system has multiple agencies responsible for shaping and implementing the WASMAN foreign policy. Each agency plays a unique role in ensuring that PNG's national interests, security, and economic sovereignty are protected. We have identified 4 capacity gaps, which are institutional infrastructure and institutional reform, human resources development, legal frameworks, and interagency coordination and data establishment. So on the other section, we have the reforms that are needed and the expected outcomes and solutions for each of these capacity gaps. Moving on, we have pardon me, while the Wasman Foreign Policy Action Plan, is ambitious and forward-looking, its implementation may face several risks that could undermine progress. Identifying these risks and proposing mitigation strategies ensure that PNG can remain resilient in pursuing its objectives. So we have identified 5 risks. However, due to time factor, I will only talk about 3 risks, which the first one is governance and corruption risk. So yes, governance and corruption risk. We have the risk is PNG's geographic position and porous borders expose it to transnational crime, illegal resources extraction, and regional security pressures, particularly along the Indian PNG border. So rising global power competition may also Oh, pardon me. That is for geopolitical. Sorry. Sorry. For governance and corruption risk, corruption remains one of PNG's most critical challenges, undermining foreign investment, border security, and effective implementation of policy. So weak enforcement of laws may enable illegal extractive activities and mismanagement of public funds. To the mitigation, strengthening the independence of oversight institutions such as the Ombudsman Commission and ICAC implement digital monitoring systems to reduce opportunities for rent-seeking behavior, promote civil society participation and transparency in budget reporting. So the second one, we have financial and resource constraints. The risk, limited fiscal space and dependence on resource revenue could hinder budget allocations for technological investments, defense modernization, and agriculture development. To the mitigation, diversify revenue sources through agriculture and tourism, negotiate consensual financing from multilateral institutions, encourage public-private partnerships in technology and infrastructure development. And to the third one, which is geopolitical and security risk. So PNG's geographic position and porous borders expose it to transnational crime, illegal resource extraction, and regional security pressures, particularly along the Indonesia-PNG border. Rising global power competition may also complicate diplomatic neutrality. To the mitigation, strengthen defense cooperation with regional powers like Australia, Japan, and the US. Invest in satellite and drone surveillance. Establish joint patrols and border monitoring agreements with Indonesia. Now to the policy recommendations. For our policy recommendations, due to time factor, I will only state two of our recommendations. Firstly, strengthen governance and anti-corruption mechanisms. To the action plan, fully operationalize the Independent Commission Against Corruption and empower the Ombudsman Commission with budget autonomy. So the evidence that we have provided is countries like Fiji and Samoa improve governance rankings by strengthening independent watchdog agencies and publishing annual corruption. So the outcome is that it increased investor confidence, reduced misuse of public funds, and improved corruption perceptions index ranking. To the second recommendation, deploy technology for resource monitoring and security. The action plan, invest in satellite and drone surveillance to monitor EEZs and border regions. Establish a digital registry of all foreign investors and local landowners to track compliance with laws. The evidence in Indonesia's use of satellite monitoring has reduced illegal fishing by 25%. So the outcome of this is that it will reduce illegal logging, mining, and fishing, securing long-term resource revenue. Now, in conclusion, this foreign policy action plan aims to safeguard PNG's national interest by using smart technology to promote regional security and expand economic partnerships. Furthermore, this policy clearly outlines the governance structures and systems, provisions of concrete actions. There are accountable agencies and departmental heads, capacity needs, assessing mechanisms, and risk mitigations. They all clearly link to PNG's long-term development goals. By pursuing key actions such as diplomatic engagement and trade development, PNG will strengthen its position on the global stage, fostering prosperity and stability for its people. Despite potential challenges, this establishing monitoring framework will ensure that the plan remains adaptable to changing circumstances. This is our references, and yes, we have come to the end of Group 1's presentation. Thank you for listening, everyone.
Okay, thank you very much, Group 1, and thank you, Narisa, for breaking the ice and being the first person to represent your group and share with us a summary of your strategy. So for the next segment, we'll start off with our sessional lecturer and our key member of the panel, Mr. Ako. Listen to his comment. And then after his comment, we'll ask Group 1 if they have anything to add on to what Narisa, members of the group, if they have anything to add on to what Narisa shared with us, or maybe Narisa missed out something during a presentation, she can add on. And after that, we'll open the floor for general comments, questions from the audience. So with that, we'll start off with Mr. Ako. Mr. Ako, any comments or questions from you?
Yeah, no, I have some just some observations. I read through the Wasman foreign policy, and you basically are driving the PNG's foreign policy at three things from your document, and it's agriculture, tourism, and sovereignty. I noted that, and you have DNPM as the lead agency to lead the attack on agriculture, tourism, and sovereignty. And you have the actual players as team members under DNPM. DAL, I'm not sure whether I don't think you included coffee and oil palm. Department of International Trade and Investment, IPA, DICT, and I could have missed them, but I'm going back to the strategic intent you wrote it earlier on in the document, which you mentioned that PNG's Wasman foreign policy would be purposely to secure PNG's border and secure PNG's agriculture, tourism, and sovereignty. So when you look at Department of National Planning, Monitoring, DNPM, National Planning and Monitoring, its role also encompasses what you mentioned correctly, but I was thinking that more emphasis should have been given to the economic departments, because you did mention that you have three pillars. The way I saw it, if I was going to write up a graph for it now, it would be the Wasman foreign policy, and underneath it would be three pillars of agriculture, tourism, and sovereignty. And then sovereignty, you've explained it, but it can cover maybe security and all that. Huh? So that's just something I noted, I saw, which you might want to consider and maybe include in the include going forward. So that's what I have at the moment. But all in all, you made a brilliant pitch of your presentation, and do not say that I'm saying that you are wrong because you did not include all these others, because that's your presentation and this is your foreign policy, and according to you, the eminent person group, this is how you envisage us to drive our foreign policy this way. That's how you present it, Mosem. Okay, it's correct according to the way your team sat down over the last 3 years or the last 18 months as the EPG. Remember, you are the EPG now, as the EPG, and said, okay, this is how we will drive this country's foreign policy through this way. For me, my observations come from my other different angles of my thoughts based on your idea. So you see, which is the reason why it is more important to do stakeholder engagements. When you go around the country meeting with all the stakeholders from NGOs, CSOs, the private sector, this type of ideas will come in to support you. Time you miss out the stakeholders like the academia and what, then this is the questions those people whom you have not met along this journey will ask you. But all in all, it's just right. According to your EPG group, this is the way it's supposed to be driven, and there you go. Thank you. Sorry, just one thing also. You mentioned about also why I mentioned the Department of ICT. You did mention about innovation and ICT technology in the Wasman foreign policy, and if you can include the Department of DICT in that configuration, and by supporting strategic intent brief.
Thank you, Mr. Ako. Very, very good comments from Mr. Ako. And I hope Group 1 you took note of it. I also like the role-playing comment that he made. All of you are the EPG, the Imminent Persons Group, and our comments and opinion, they're from our own experience and our own observation and perspective and all that. So, then see where it fits in and then how you can improve the document that you've already created. So that's good. That's the start. Every management team, every group that is formed to come up with a plan, they should have the original plan, and then when going around for consultation, they get views from others. So it will. The views are not necessarily you need to incorporate everything in. Arim na then scale him na then thinking whether you incorporate, include or not. So that will come back to your collective wisdom and your understanding of your way forward, your plan. So Group 1, any feedback, any comments from you? Anybody want to respond to what Mr. Ako has said? And if you have anything to add on to what Narisa has shared with us? Group 1, Yvonne, Narisa, Valentine, Amy, Kappa.
Thank you. I actually just have something to add on to what Mr. Ako has stated. I think that thank you for your opinion on the Department for Monitoring and Planning, and that I think that it is insightful to get that from you, because you are giving us you're already out in the work field, so you're giving us this answer from your experience and all that from your So what we have stated is at our level, since we are not exposed to like all these agencies and all that, so this is what we perceive to be like that is why we stated that. But thank you for getting the feedback from it. That's all I wanted to say. If you have some questions, you can ask, and me and the group members will try to answer them for you. Yeah, thank you.
I agree with what you're saying, Mr. Basanu, because like I said, this is according to how your team envisage how the game plan should be. And you are correct. You are very correct, and the presentation you've done is very satisfactory, because the next level, like what EPG should have done, like I mentioned, is to go out to all the stakeholders so that you can get comments like what me and Mr. Yagira and Dr. was saying he would give. Those comments can only come after the teams go out to get go out for the stakeholder engagement. This is a project. It's a project, and the first part of any project is stakeholder engagement and gap assessments. See, so you are right. You are right. I'm also saying that for the other 4 teams, you are right in whatever. Do not change anything. This is according to how you think it should be done. Now, if we went out for stakeholder engagement, say in another 2 months, then you will bring back all those comments. Now, you edim ko sa anid lo your implementation schedule or under the risks you envisage. Then we can you can tighten up your foreign policy before it goes to cabinet.
Thank you, Valentine, and thank you, Mr. Ako. Now, the floor is now open for questions, comments from the attendees or audience. Anybody with a question or comment for the group or a general
Just an-
comment, questions? Yvonne, Yvonne
Yes,
or Narissa?
Yvonne,
Okay, Yvonne, go ahead.
just to share our experience with the overall experience with the foreign policy write-up and everything. From last year coming here, we saw that we didn't think much. I mean, you could tell that the foreign policy was a bit too broad for us. So yeah, coming to now and we're writing the action plan, we saw that we needed, or we should have tailored it down to a specific, we said that we were focusing on three pillars, but yeah, we should have focused more on one or two. It would be better for us. Just an overall view for our experience. Thank you.
And also the number of pages you guys have included as the FP, that's the number of pages between 11 and 20. Because the implementation schedule will come under another strategic operation plan that's looking towards this FP, and then you're working with 5-6 operation plans to cover pillar 1, pillar 2, pillar 3, and all the activities going down. So that number of pages is correct. It's just right. If you go to 30 or 40 MMU Abu mark now, you're gonna make the implementation level down there confused.
Yeah, thank you, Yvonne. Anybody from the audience with a question or comment for the group? Or general
I
for the-
also have a comment. I mean, it's more like a response to Mr. Ako's comment where he mentioned in the Wasman policy, we one of our focus was to improve our technological advancement to pursue the economic interests of Papua New Guinea. And so he added on by saying that it was necessary for us to include the DICT, which we did include the DICT in the timeline of our in the timeline of our implementation plan. In the short term, for 1 to 2 years, the first focus was to install satellite systems and drones to monitor unpatrolled maritime zones. That was actually derived from the DICT 2023, one of their documents. And so in support of that, the WASON policy is looking at external stakeholders, like the foreign countries, especially Indonesia and other countries that are well advanced in terms of technological capacity to help PNG navigate its security in terms of our border patrol and especially our airspace. So that's where we've included the ICT. That's just my response to his comment regarding regarding us including the DICT. So yes, we are fully inclusive of DICT and other departments, especially the Foreign Affairs Department and other stakeholders within the government. That's that. Also, one take that I've learned as a communication student from this unit, I am really grateful for everyone, and especially my colleagues, because I've learned so much from the PGIS students. And so one thing that I've learned from the overall the case study was that in 2024, according to the according to a report by the PNG Department of Foreign Affairs, while doing the research, the EPG, as Mr. Ako and Mr. Yeager have been emphasizing on, the eminent persons group, it comprises of senior officers and diplomats who are in the drafting of the foreign policy white paper. So they actually presented their intern report to the minister, Honorable Chechenko, after the Foreign Affairs Bill was submitted for the legislature to approve the law that will validate the implementation of the foreign policy. So, I mean, to my understanding, from this whole entire the unit, I actually thought it was just a foreign policy that the Department of Foreign Affairs was drafting the white paper, but it actually had a bill that was passed, or if it's still in the process of voting for. So yeah, that was something that I learned from that. It actually had a bill to sort of give more validation to the white paper foreign policy that PNG is in the process of actually implementing and circulating to the public. So yeah, that's just was it was just something new that I learned from that entire case study. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kappa. Anybody else with a question or comment?
Mr. I have a
Yes, Sweden,
comment.
go ahead.
So,
Thank you.
thank you. First of all, I would like to thank the Group 1 for the wonderful presentation and also for coming up with a great policy. So, to my question, not the question, sorry. I would like to make a comment. So, to my question, I like the implementation strategy on how they outline the framework on the timeline on how their policy will achieve the objectives of the Westman policy, which is further stressed by Kabagamo. So yeah, this is a great implementation strategy for outlining the long term and also the short term strategy to achieve the goals. So yeah, I would say this is one thing that I picked up or I liked about the presentation. So yeah. So thank you, Group 1 for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you, Sweden. Anybody else with a question, comment? Questions and comments for the group or directed to Mr. Ako if you have questions and comments from last week, from the lessons that we have gone through. The floor is open. We have roughly, I think, 27 minutes. It's now 3 past 11, 11:03. If you have a question or comment, please feel free to unmute and then ask.
So,
I have a question. Oh,
yeah. So,
Okay. So we'll go to Kappa and then go back to Sweden. Huh?
thank you, Mr. Yagura. So due to time factor, I will only ask one question. So this was from an article that I read on Al Jazeera, and online news regarding the previous lesson we had. So my question is, on the article I read, it stated that Israel will fund the Papua New Guinea embassy for the first 2 years. So my question is, why is the arrangement that Israel will have to fund our embassy in Jerusalem? Thank you.
Thank you, Kappa. Will give Mr. Ako the opportunity to say his.
Papa, you repeat your question again, please. I need to frame the appropriate answer.
Thank you. All right. From an online article that I read on Al Jazeera News, regarding the establishment of the embassy, the PNG embassy in Israel. In the article, it stated that Israel. Oh yes, it stated that Israel will fund Papua New Guinea embassy for the first 2 years. So my question is, why is that arrangement?
Okay. According to the papers, and from my understanding of the papers, I feel that I think that it's a government building which they have given to Papua New Guinea, maybe other embassies also. So rent free. That's my take on that. To say when it says that the Israeli government will fund the PNG government's embassy, I take it as rent free for the first 2 years. I don't think they are talking about funding the allowances and all the other stuff. I think it's the rental. And I won't be surprised if we are correct with the rental, because rental is our major stumbling block throughout the well where we are. Those are our major stumbling blocks. And not only that, in addition to rental, is the uh, uh, is the salaries we have to pay the locally engaged staff. Sometimes some of the locally engaged staffs are paid more than the embassy people as per their living standards. Look him. So it goes with the economy. So if it's in a large economy, a developed economy, obviously the minimum pay or the pay that's given to all the locally engaged staff in throughout the diplomatic missions are at this level, and then we are bringing in our levels in. Okay, and I'm not sure when there has been a review to the locally engaged staff payments, and those have to come to the public service and through that system. So that's my thoughts on it, Ms. Gauma.
Thank you, Kappa. We'll go to Sweden. Just go ahead.
Okay, Mr. I'll just make 2 comments and ask 1 question. So my comments. So the first comment, the embassy in Jerusalem was described as a bold movement rooted in Judeo-Christian values, or symbolic alignment with Israel may boost PNG global visibility, but it also raises questions about whether such movement advance core national interests like development and security. So the decline of centrist position in PNG's foreign policy was noted as a trend. And also, while these comparisons are useful, PNG foreign policy must contextualized within its own cultural, historical, and regional realities rather than borrowing framework or say. So yeah, now I'll just move on to a question. So to my question, regional solidarity has been a central pillars of PNG foreign policy, especially through the Pacific Island Forum. So how might PNG faith-based diplomacy affect its standard and leadership role among other Pacific Island nations, particularly those with different priorities? PNG is a predominantly Christian nations, but it is also home to smaller religions, communities, and diverse cultural beliefs.
So then you are asking about our faith-based diplomacy in the region and how it compares with other Pacific Island countries, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I guess our faith, the main thrust of the faith-based diplomacy, which Mr. Henao mentioned last Friday, is focused on our relationship with Israel, be it through our Christian faith or be it through diplomatic means. And that would also go for the other Pacific Island countries who are also members of the Methodist, the London Missionary Society, who came through there in the 1870s, 1830s, the Methodists, the Catholic, the Roman Catholics, the Seventh-day Adventists. You see, all those have a bearing on how our leaders are thinking at the moment. The religious thinking of our leaders in driving our foreign policy that way. So that's my thoughts on that.
Thank you, Sweden. Hemta Sola.
Okay, yeah. That's all.
Oh, all right.
Um,
I have yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Sweden.
No, that's all, Mister. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I have a question for Group One. Group One, are you aware of the split between international trade and foreign affairs?
Actually, no. I mean, for my case, and even we are not aware of this. Yes.
Okay, I'm asking because you have Department of Foreign Affairs and International Trade. Now the two functions have been separated. You have Foreign Affairs alone, and then we have the new Department of International Trade and Investment. And they're headed by two different individuals, International Trade and Investment by Ms. Jacinta Manoa and Mrs. Jacinta Manoa, and Foreign Affairs is headed by Secretary Alice Uengu. So we have two different departments, and International Trade and Investment is now separate. But we still do have trade functions within the Foreign Affairs Department as well. They facilitate the diplomatic activities, I believe.
All right.
Yeah, and the
Okay.
National Trade Office
Okay.
by Mr. Richard Yakam. Yeah,
Noted.
okay. All right, thank you. Questions, comments? We have 17 minutes remaining. So hopefully Friday and Tuesday and the following Friday, I hope you people come with your questions and comments. I'll be away on Wednesday for field work, so I will not be able to, due to maybe technical issues, I will not be able to have normal consultation with you during the consultation period. And maybe during that period too, I'll be interviewing people at UOG, or I'll be up in Goroka for the next 3 or 4 weeks. So letting you know, when we meet for classes Friday, Tuesday, and next Friday, again, make sure you have questions and comments so you can ask. And then those, especially for those of you who are yet to complete your tally and get the maximum of 30 marks for this particular task, participation task. So I might not be able to meet you during the consultation period. And if Mr. Aqua is free, we might organize some night meetings, maybe one this week and one next week or something. And then in the night I'll be free, but during the day we'll be out collecting data, interviewing people and all that. So I might not be able to meet with you during the consultation period. Yeah, so my point is our meetings is an opportunity for you to ask questions and make comments.
Good morning, Mr. Yeager and for everyone.
Morning, Adelia.
So I have a comment and two questions which are based on my comment. It's just about what Mr. Akoy mentioned earlier about model APEC. So yeah, I skimmed through. I was doing a little research. I found out through reading the Beijing Jiatong University. I went to the website and I read, and then from my understanding, like yeah, I understood that one of Model Apex objectives is to create youth policy proposals which are submitted to the APEC observers and leaders. So this gives young people a voice in important regional matters. So the two questions I have is how long has PNG actively participated in or contributed to the model APEC? And would you know if there are any youth policy proposals from PNG that have been officially approved or adopted by the APEC?
Yeah, I don't think PNG has participated or contributed to Model APEC because remember, Model APEC is a China initiative that is it's its own program blow China yet. It's not an APEC program as in for all the economics. It's called Model APEC because it's a Chinese initiative. All it's a USIM. What we are trying to look at is maybe get something out from there. Get something out from there for our purposes. But like I said, we're still considering it whether it will be the right way to do it or we'll see how it goes. But according to Chinese colleagues, what they do is they bring in all the universities. They put all the universities like what we are doing. They bring all the universities up to a particular single point, and they all think about the issues they want to address, and then these are funneled right up to their central government. And if they see it's warrant going out to the APEC proper, then they bring those ideas out. And I'm also told that the top 1 to 3 students are invited to be part of the Chinese delegation during their wherever the leaders' meetings are held. So those are some ideas which provides which may need for us to explore. But it is not an APEC initiative. Something about Chinese at policy initiative about China. That's how they're moving it at the university levels, and I find it interesting because like what we're doing, our foreign policy program in these last 4 years has provided us that necessary platform as students to look at policy angles, live policy angles going forward, and that gives us the platform to look at the next level now. How can we get the universities to perform at this next level now to drive policy to help drive policy agendas for government players? No, what we've been doing now, right up to last year, was like providing a shooting of ideas and fishing for ideas on how to support. This year has been really a turning point for us because I should have allowed the EPG to come and see, have a discussion with us at this level on how they think they should have driven the foreign policy review. Fine, they didn't happen, but it's now given us the opportunity to look at next level stuff from next year onwards. Okay, and utilizing the student brain power provides us with 5, 6, 7 institutional groupings to support our policy initiatives going forward. But the model APEC it's a Chinese initiative, Bloliet. It's the internal domestic APEC initiative, which I think would work well for us. Just thinking out loud. Unfortunately, it will, if it was to work well for it, it would commence in the next 1 to 2 years. And it works well with any proposed hosting PNG might do, because then it provides opportunity to go into educational institutions, maybe look at the possibilities of hosting meetings there, and then upgrades. And so say if we upgraded the Divine Word lecture auditorium, the messing facilities, the accommodations, right up to 5-star hotel standards, because that's where the APEC standards are. And then after the meetings, then you have a state-of-the-art university to be used by generations of Papua New Guineans forever, or until after repairs. And imagine if we did that for all the educational institutions around Papua New Guinea. All those STEM knowledge and the advances which we are doing, it comes up to this other level, where then we can also enable the universities themselves, because of the high standard of education, facilities, and accommodation, it will enable other brain capacity to come in and work here, not the other way around. So that's the actual thought on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. for the clarification and explanation.
Thank you, Miss Annie. We have 9 minutes remaining. Any last comments or questions from you people before we wind up?
Mr. I also have a question.
Yeah, Sweden, go ahead.
Okay. So this question goes back to the faith faith-based diplomacy. So my question the discussion emphasized the symbolic or the importance of Jerusalem opening, PNG opening embassy in Jerusalem, but little was said about the tangible outcomes. So, to my question, how can PNG translate faith-based diplomacy into concrete economy, technological, or developmental benefit for its citizens?
Sorry, could you repeat your question again?
Also, the discussion about the faith-based policy was it has emphasized symbolic importance of opening PNG embassies in Jerusalem, but little was said about the tangible outcomes. So, to my question, how can PNG translate faith-based diplomacy into concrete economy, technological, and diplomatic development benefit for its citizens?
With our mission in, your question is basically asking what are the tangible outcomes of having a mission in Jerusalem? Am I correct?
Yes, yes.
Yes, okay, yeah. There are MOUs which previous prime ministers also signed. I can remember 2013 or 2014 visit by then Prime Minister O'Neill to Israel, and where they signed up some MOUs. And then the latest visits again, they sign MOUs. So tangible benefits can come through implementing those MOUs, putting them into action. So that's one way of looking at tangible benefits. And then the other way of looking at it is for new benefits which both countries can have now that we have a mission on the ground. Is right. It's up to the head of mission now, the ambassador there, to meet with his the foreign ministry in Israel and start looking at options. You visit when you go as ambassador to as a Papua New Guinea ambassador to a particular country, your job is not to just hang around in the capital. Okay, you move around the provinces because your job there, um, for want of a better word, all heads of missions abroad throughout the world who are posted by their governments out there, they are salesmen or saleswomen. You go to market team country. So you go there armed with, in our case, you go there armed with the MTDP4. Later on, you'll have two arms with the foreign policy white paper. So you go there now and then you look at your environment and where one of the SPAs or the DIPs can move into what particular, then you start making presentations at those provinces to see how you can connect. When you look at the Chinese have China is a huge country. So what they normally do, they every week their governors, their small municipalities within those provinces are inviting diplomats every week to come and visit their particular area so that they can go and look at a beer brewery or a car making factory or some agriculture initiative which they are putting. You see, everywhere, right out to the local level government level, the Chinese are promoting their country for investment. So I am sure that the Israelis are doing that too. They're inviting heads of missions out to provinces to maybe look at their possible investment opportunities. Or if they're not doing that, then you are there to make it happen. No. That's what that is what international relations is all about. You are there to drive Papua New Guinea's national interest, and Papua New Guinea's national interest is driven through the MTDP4 and the foreign policy white paper. So what's in there, you drive him love. So our national interest at the moment is supporting Israel. So regardless of your personal thoughts, regardless of your your Christian beliefs, if you are sitting there at the UN behind the PNG flag, you drive him agenda of Papua New Guinea. Okay? And after you say what you have to say, then that's it. You go and make your peace with God Almighty if you think it was wrong. None of us have been put in those type of situations. But that is what I have been mentored on by those experts whom I served under, like Ambassador Mexray and all that. What they said, regardless of your personal convictions, you are there to drive Papua New Guinea's agenda. And go and drive it, because that is how the experts in this country think that this is how we should drive our foreign policy agenda. That's the reason why we are supporting Israel. And if you take out the faith head from it, hey, Israel is one country which I think we should invest in and get investment from, because for goodness sake, they made the desert bloom. Huh? Who in this world made the desert bloom? The Israelis did it. They like you said, they put tangible benefit. They made tangible what was written in the Bible. So if I wanted to look at agricultural opportunities, I would go there also to find out how they made rocks grow food. Don't we want all of that? So I'll stop there.
Yeah, thank you, student. Thank you, Mr. Akobi. Have come to the end of our presentation session. And yeah, just to add on, in terms of human intelligence and signals intelligence, Mossad is the best in the world. And our loyalty, we should make it count by negotiating with the Israeli government. And I think Peter O'Neill did in 2013, but it was interestingly, from what I heard, was that the deal did not go through because of Australia. So now I don't know what will happen if we try again, and we are now comfortably in bed with Australia. So will they allow us to go and negotiate with Israel to get Mossad to train our NIO and defense intelligence? It's another question that we have to ask and think about. But like I said, human intelligence, signals intelligence, we are nowhere. We only get our sources from open source intel, and we don't have human intelligence. We're not trained for that. We don't have operatives internally and externally, or spies in Canberra to spy on what the Australian government, or in Washington to spy on what the US government is doing in order to improve our strategic advantage. So that's something that all of us should think about. And I mean, that's the conversation we're having with our security community now. But will the government of Australia support that, or will they block it and ask us to turn to their own security agencies for training and capacity building? So that's something for debate. But otherwise, thank you everyone, and thank you Group 1 in particular for sharing with us your summary, the summary of your presentation. Unfortunately, Doctor is in a meeting with Mr. Alakua, so I'll forward the link to Doctor, the recording, and Mr. Ako as well. So we'll sit down and then go through your presentation again and mark as per the marking criteria. And likewise, we'll do that for the written strategy. And thank you, Mr. Ako, for joining us for this session. We're always inspired and happy to learn from your experience and wealth of knowledge, including your wisdom too. So thank you very much for joining us. So we'll meet again this Friday, and like what Mr. Ako and I mentioned, we'll have sessions over the weekend or next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday when it's free. So consultations, I won't be available for consultations because I'll be out in the field collecting data. So just letting people know. But thank you everyone for joining us, and thank you Group 1 in particular. You've now broken the ice. We listen to the second group this Friday. And make sure you come with a lot of questions and comments for Group 1 and for both of us on Friday. Especially those of you who are here to complete your tally. Yes, Mr. Ako, go ahead.
No, see you all on Friday. See you all on Friday. I'm not watching rugby league anymore. I think I'll watch NFL from this weekend onwards. All right. Thanks, everyone. School good.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye for now.